Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today I thought it might be fun to take a couple of random Pokemon, look at what their stats are in the video game, and then look to see whether their cards in the trading card game make any sense. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to start off with Garchomp, because Garchomp is one of my boys. Now, in the video game, Garchomp has a speed of 102. That's pretty fast, and this actually makes sense. A lot of the Garchomp in the trading card game have free retreats. This one from Pop 9, this one from Supreme Victors, and the most recent one from Breakpoint. Although I would love to see an explanation as to why the EX has a retreat cost of 2. That doesn't really make any sense. I'm not saying there is a direct correlation between speed and retreat cost, but I'm saying it would make sense if there was. As for the HP of Garchomp, he's got a HP of 108, which is pretty good. And in the Pokemon trading card game, he's generally got HP of 130 to 140, which is standard for Stage 2s. Okay, we can live with this for now. And most of his cards tend to have low energy, fairly decent attacks, like this one from Dragons Exalted, or this one from Breakpoint. So you know what? If we look at Garchomp in the video game and Garchomp in the trading card game, it makes a little bit of sense. Now, one that we've got to have a look at is Wailord. Now, in the video game, Wailord has a fairly ridiculous 170 HP. Now, it's not the highest HP we've ever seen, but it's pretty high. Of course, going along with that, Wailord has fairly bad defense and special defense of 45 each. So we'd expect him to have a high HP in the trading card game, but not ridiculous, because you would imagine that HP would be a mixture of HP and the defense stats in the video game, because how else are you going to represent these defense stats in the trading card game? Well, unfortunately this just means that Wailord in the trading card game has ridiculous HP. Stage 1 from Guardians Rising, 200. That is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. The old EX had 200, which was crazy high. And the highest EX that was not Wailord of the new EXs was Zygarde EX that had 190 HP. The highest was Wailord with 250. For some reason, the card makers have decided that Wailord deserves a redonkulous HP. Okay. I don't see why Wailord has such a ridiculous HP in the trading card game. Doesn't quite make sense, but it's one of his things apparently. Now in the video game, Wailord has a fairly poor speed stat of 60, and in the trading card game he generally has a huge retreat, among the highest retreats we've ever seen in the game. Well, this makes sense, he's got a speed stat of 60, surely? Well, no, because Torkoal has a speed stat of 20. Which is truly abysmal. And he's generally got a retreat cost of 2. Now maybe this is because Wailord is heavy, but then again Primal Groudon is the heaviest Pokemon we've seen so far. I don't quite understand Wailord's ridiculous retreat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not entirely convinced Wailord in the trading card game fits with Wailord in the video game. But I do know that in the trading card game, the card makers have gone, high HP, high retreat cost. Now the next Pokemon I want to have a look at is Blissey. And the reason I want to have a look at Blissey is because Blissey has an absolutely absurd 255 HP in the video game, which is ridiculous. So you would imagine that Blissey in the trading card game has a similarly ridiculous HP. And the answer is no. If we look at the Prime cards, Blissey has a fairly nice HP. But it's only 10 more than Donphan Prime, and Donphan has a HP in the video game of 90. That's almost a third of Blissey's HP. So I don't quite know why Blissey's being picked on. Now, to be fair, the new Blissey from Guardians Rising has 160 HP, which is very high for a Stage 1. But Wailord has 200 HP. Why the hate for Blissey? Now we can't really carry on this video without having a look at Charizard. Charizard is the boy in Pokemon. He is one of the most popular ones. And Charizard, quite frankly, in the video game, has a huge special attack of 159. So we would expect Charizard to have some very large attacks in the trading card game. And this actually works quite nicely. Like this Mega Charizard that does 300 damage. Or the upcoming Charizard GX that does, wait for it, 300 damage. Even back in base set, Charizard's MO in the trading card game was pile a whole bunch of energy on, do a whole bunch of damage. So you know what? It's quite heartening to look at Charizard. In the video game, huge special attack. In the trading card game, you know what? You've got to put a whole bunch of energy on him, but he's going to do a whole bunch of damage. And we're going to finish today, ladies and gentlemen, by looking at Reuniclus. Now, so far we've seen that these cards kind of make sense sometimes-ish. Charizard certainly does. Garchomp mostly does. Wailord does, but they've clearly gone over the top with both the HP and the retreat cost. And as for Blissey, high HP, but oh my goodness, should be higher. But I figure we need to look at least one Pokemon who really doesn't make sense in a trading card game given the attributes in the video game. And for that, I've chosen Reuniclus. Now, in the video game, Reuniclus has a HP stat of 110, and that's quite high. It's up there with Regigigas and Mamoswine. That's right. I got Mamoswine into this video. And if you're wondering, hey Ross, are you proud of yourself for getting Mamoswine in the video? Yes. Yes, I am. But in the trading card game, Reuniclus always has a HP of 90, which for a stage 2 is utter garbage. Wait, sorry. There's one in Plasma Blast that has 100 HP. 90 HP for a stage 2 is utterly terrible. Reuniclus does not have a terrible HP stat. Doesn't even have terrible defense stats in the video game. You know, defense of 75, special defense of 85. It's not terrible. Reuniclus does not deserve to have such terrible HP in the trading card game. But somewhere somebody has decided all of these Reuniclus cards are going to have terrible, terrible HP. Now, the one thing that Reuniclus really does have going in the video game is a really nice special attack of 125. Well, the Noble Victories Reuniclus does 60. And the Plasma Blast Reuniclus does 70. Now, to be fair, there is one from Noble Victories that does 160 if you've got 4 Reuniclus out. And there is one from Fates Collide that does an extra 90 if you've got a Reuniclus on the bench. They're not terrible attacks. But there's way too many Reuniclus that don't do enough damage. There's a couple that are okay. But there's way too many that don't do enough damage. Combined with the low HP, I am happy to say that when it comes to the Pokemon trading card game, Reuniclus is not being given the love that he deserves. Boo! Now, if you want me to look at more Pokemon and how they compare in a trading card game and a video game, well, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you get the views up on this video. Tell your friends. Because if this video proves popular, absolutely, I will do more of these kinds of videos. So I'm going to be honest, it's fun looking this kind of stuff up. So make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. And if you want to support this channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. The most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.